Well, it's a tough one in Cowtown tonight. The snow that fell so delicately this morning, a bit of a harbinger of doom as the Chicago Blackhawks roll into town to snatch a 4-0 win. A two-game win streak for the Calgary Flames comes to an end as they lose in more ways than one, with Zane Parekh exiting the game. Tough
Mm.
one, kind of all around tonight, but we're going to break it all down for you this evening. It's Afterburner on the Nation Network with Cami and Robert, a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, never ordinary at Bet365. You can download the app and get in on the game using the code NATION. And let us know how you're feeling tonight. Get into that super chat and support Youth Centers of Calgary. We've talked about them a lot recently. The Flames also support them, a great place to go with healthy homemade snacks and hot food after school programs that make a huge difference for kids whose families are facing some pretty tough headwinds on the ice tonight, Robert. But weirdly, the thing that sticks out for me, we've talked so much this season about how goals have been hard to come by for Calgary. This is the first time they've actually been shut out this season.
Yeah, a lot of games where they've scored one goal, a couple where they've scored two, but yeah, first time they've been shut out all year. And give credit to Spencer Knight. He was really good. At the same time, I didn't think the Flames were all that dangerous. On my notes here, I think I wrote down about 6 or 7 legit scoring chances for the Flames. And even that was kind of being a little bit generous. So it was kind of a mix of the Flames weren't that dangerous and Spencer Knight was also on his game. So yeah, tough one for the Calgary Flames. Also, this Connor Bedard kid, pretty good, hey? Pretty good. I wonder how the Calgary Flames could acquire somebody of his talent level. Just throwing it out there. I'm curious. I'm really curious. I wonder how the Blackhawks got him.
Well, I think we're going to be in the same situation a couple nights from now when the NHL's new points leader rolls through town, Mr. Macklin Celebrini.
Yeah, I'll be doing Afterburner that night as well.
Hey, actually, I think him and Bedard are tied now. I think they're both tied with 22 points now. It's all kind of unfolding right now.
After Bedard's 4-point night tonight, all primary points too, he is tied for the NHL lead in points. It's pretty remarkable to see those two kids up there.
It's wild. And just to see the hype around him too. I got to go catch up with him last season, the first time the Blackhawks came through town, just for a practice before their game against Calgary. And like Philadelphia was practicing the next rink over at Winsport. The Blackhawks were on the Joan Snyder ice, and it was crazy. Like they had to bring in the Flame security to hold people back from trying to get to Bedard.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Hype is there for a reason. And I mean, he's a man on a mission, and he might have been having one of his best performances of the season in front of some pretty important people, which we will get into later. But I guess let's take it from the top. Bertuzzi, man. Yeah.
We have to. Please don't make me do this.
Gird your loins, Robert. Gird your loins. We're doing this thing. The age-old question in Calgary, was it a kick? No, it went off of Bertuzzi's shin guards, but that is the way it crumbles on the opening goal. Mackenzie Weegar is kind of on Bertuzzi in front of the crease. Certainly a redirect, but it looks like it came off the shin more than skate, so no challenge there. That'll stand as a good goal.
Totally agree that should have counted. I think the Flames were smart not to challenge that one, because you're right, it went off his shin. It didn't even go off his foot. Also, just in general, the NHL should allow those types of goals, in my opinion, like where you kind of deflect it with your foot or deflect it with your leg. Those should just be automatic goals. Like those should not be considered like kicking motion. Like it's total crap if you ask me.
You need the full wind up for it to be a kick?
I think so. That's just me.
We'll get your full breakdown eventually.
Perfect.
We'll get your rule book. I'd love to see it.
Also, just on that first goal too, just the Blackhawks were on the power play because of a Rasmus Andersson careless high stick. It was a kind of a bizarre play. He was at his the offensive blue line, shot the puck back in, and then kind of on his follow through, he got a stick stuck up in a Chicago player's face. Just a completely unnecessary, kind of lazy penalty that Andersson took there. And I went back and looked, and that's 5 games in a row where Rasmus Andersson's taken a minor penalty. And on the broadcast, they showed when the Flames have won games this year, they've only taken 1 penalty. So they really need to clean up that area of that game, especially a guy like Rasmus Andersson having to do that 5 times in a row. Like that's just unacceptable from a veteran like that.
Absolutely, especially when you're counting on him on a night like tonight to kind of help out a guy who is a defensive partner who's playing in his 3rd NHL game. So not great. Unnecessary is a word you will be using multiple times tonight, but notably that was the only shot on that power play and pays off for the Blackhawks as they get the early 1-0 lead. So next up, we get the first of 3 fight, and this is Farabee going up against Doc. Not much here. I mean, Doc basically just kind of fell on top of him. I don't know if anyone really got a hit in here, but his first fight of the season gets the butt tap from Backlund. That must be nice. I get it. I guess.
I know
that they were trying to fire up their team, but I don't know if any of the fights really did it for me watching from afar. Maybe for people who were actually at the Saddle Dome, because it did look like a very good crowd tonight. Maybe it was a very different vibe in there, but
I gotta admit, like these fights after a clean hit drive me absolutely insane. Like physicality is such a big part of the game of hockey, and if you make a clean hit, you should not have to drop the gloves and fight. I think that is like one of the most ridiculous things about the NHL right now. It just seems like after any hit, like it could be small, it could be big, people want to drop the gloves. There's always challenges. There's not always fights, but the fact that there's fighting, like especially after the Foligno hits on Parekh and on Zary, like those were clean hits. There probably shouldn't have been a fight there. Uyghur laying out Oliver Moore, there should not have been a fight there. The one I will say is the Farabee and Doc fight. That one kind of made sense to me because Farabee gave like a pretty bad cheap shot cross check right to the kidney of Frank Nazar, who's, you know, Chicago's second best player, and he's only 19 or 20 years old. So
he's
I understand
21 now, but he did leave and didn't come back after that.
And he's one of their best players, and it was a cheap shot. So like that, I get, you want to get retribution on something like that, but for like the clean hits for the next two fights, like, come on, like, what are we doing here?
You don't think? Like, you can't, if you're not scoring goals trying to fire your team up, you got to do something. And I mean, didn't the Flames already take enough crap from like Bieksa and them earlier this year about not caring enough, not sticking up for each other?
Yeah, but like, so like the Uyghur one, he hits a Blackhawk player, and the Blackhawk goes in there to go fight Uyghur to stand up for his teammate. I thought it was unnecessary. The other one there, what was the other fight? Joel Hanley. Yes, he drops his gloves. He tries to stand for his teammate, but he got his ass kicked. Like, if anything, it's like you watch that and you're like, oh, like, I don't know if he should be doing that right now. Like, does that really fire up your bench? Does that send a message to the rest of the NHL to say, don't mess with the Calgary Flames? I don't think so. I don't think it sends that message personally.
Well, they didn't know that they weren't going to win those fights. I think like the Foligno Hanley one also makes sense to me because that's right after the Zane Parekh hit. You know, like, I mean, Foligno,
but it's a clean hit. Like I know it's your young defenseman, but still, like, I think if you make a clean hit, you should not have to fight for it. That's kind of my stance on it.
No way. I'm never going to agree with you on this, Robert. No. How do you teach other teams to stay away from your young guys or your star guys? If Zane Parekh is just going to take that contact every night, like, why wouldn't other teams send like their veterans, their role players after him if they never have to answer for it as long as it's clean?
But like how effective was it tonight?
But I don't think that'd be the situation every time. I think it sends a better message to stand up for your guy.
Yeah, no, it's fair. You know, in general, I would say if there's a clean hit, there shouldn't be a fight. Sure, if it's on a 19-year-old he's been taking hard hits all season long, you know, like having like a Ryan Lomberg step up and fight a Colton Sissons in Vegas. Sure, I totally get where you're coming from, but I would just say, like, in general, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just hockey's a physical game. Like, you should be able to hit without having to get your face punched in like Joel Hanley did tonight. And, you know, like good on Joel Hanley for standing up. I'm not criticizing Joel Hanley by any stretch of the imagination. Good on him. But, like, yeah, I mean, he took some pretty heavy punches there. Like, was that necessary? Does he really need to get bare knuckles into his skull? You know, that's just kind of the way I feel about it.
Yeah, I think they were more in the back of his skull. I saw someone post on Reddit right after the Uyghur fight that they were throwing bombs. Love the intent. I don't
kind of.
It was there. We got a couple super chats. Thank you so much for helping out Youth Centers of Calgary. We got R&B up first. Guess who was -3 tonight? Uyghur. I'm shocked too. I'm not putting a lot of that on him.
No, I'm not either. I mean,
you know, like one of them, like we'll talk about it in a bit, but come on, the only D back on a 3-on-1.
And he faced the 2-on-1 too. Like,
yeah,
I know he dove. He tried to block the pass. He tried to do what he could. I definitely don't put a lot of those minuses on him tonight. I'm with you, but it does suck that Hockey Canada is in attendance, and you know he was just okay tonight.
It does. It really does. And we got another super chat here. Jeremy Key at $13.99. Thank you,
Wow.
Jeremy.
Thank you.
Tough loss. However, the future really does look bright with Wolf, Coronato, Zary, Parekh, Gridden. Feels like the team really needs McKenna or McKenna level. Thoughts? Oh, gosh. I would just love to see that kind of superstar. I think forward in particular. I think we see there just on that list, like, wow, some of the defensemen coming up through the system, having Wolf locked up long-term on the back end, that is fantastic. It would be so cool to have a young forward who can really take the butts out of the seats and get them cheering, especially coming into the new building. And, there's going to be a lot of talent available kind of honestly wherever the Flames do end up picking in the first round. But I know a lot of fans would love to see someone high end. And I mean, Gavin McKenna, he was just named the NCAA Rookie of the Month, I believe.
That would be unbelievable if something like that could happen. Like, I'll quickly say, for the Flames,
he will not be your centerman, though. He will not.
No.
He would not be the centerman that so many people want. That boy is a winger.
The top of the draft this year is very wing and defense heavy, unfortunately, for the Calgary Flames. But heck, if you could get a Gavin McKenna or Keaton Verhoff, I think you'd be very happy because those two guys both look elite. But the nice thing about the Flames,
like, sleeper pick, Ryan Lynn. Look out for Ryan Lynn. Lynn Sanity 2, Electric Boogaloo.
The one thing I will say, though, just quickly, is when it comes to the future, like, the Flames aren't rebuilding from scratch. Like, they're not starting at the same point that Chicago did or Anaheim did. They do have a lot of good pieces, like that super chat just said. What they're missing is that elite talent. If they can, in like over the next 2 years, bottom out over the next 2 years, acquire a couple top 5 picks, all of a sudden you're setting yourself up for a lot of success in the future. It doesn't have to be an 8-10 year process. It really doesn't.
Yeah. One more super chat that just came in here again. RMB, thanks for helping us out. Uyghur's the worst plus minus in the league, not his fault. I'd say he's also, I think he's 13th in ice time with a bit of a revolving door of defensive partners on a team that has not thrived structurally. It has not been a glorious season for Mackenzie Weegar, and I don't think he would tell you that either, but I just don't think he's the worst defenseman in the league. I don't know. I know the numbers aren't going to reflect well, but I don't think it's going to reflect well on anyone this season. It's like trying to say that Dustin Wolf is struggling right now when the numbers don't also pass the smell test here.
Yeah.
Looks like we have a bit of an update from Ryan Pike here from Huska Postgame on Zane Parekh. He's going to miss a little bit of time. I don't know the extent of it yet, but we'll find out some more tomorrow.
That is too bad.
Yeah, that is really too bad. Let's see if we can get a look at that hit actually right now, just since we were already on the fights. So the Parekh hit, was suggesting that it might have something to do with the way that Parekh is positioning himself on the ice.
So I didn't see the intermission. I didn't hear what Eric said, but it's like, I guess I'll just kind of give my thoughts on what I saw. And it was Parekh makes the play. I think he has to be a little bit more aware of who's on the ice and who's around him. Because Nick Foligno, he's like one of the more physical players in the NHL. He's usually top 20, top 30 in hits. He's a beast. He skates well. Like, he is a grown ass man. So I think Zane Parech's got to be a little more aware of who's on the ice and also bracing for that contact too. He was probably 2 feet away from the boards, 1 or 2 feet away from the boards. Mm-hmm. Ideally, you'd like to get up along the boards so you can take a little bit more of the contact. So it was just a super unfortunate play. I don't think he totally was aware that Foligno was coming in as hard as he was. And it
kind of reminded me of the Nino Niederreiter hit.
Yeah, against Winnipeg. Yeah, totally. He just wasn't aware, unfortunately. And I think it'll be a learning experience from it. It kind of reminded me of the Honzek hit from last season against Chicago. You know, Honzek, he wasn't really quite aware that like how big and powerful Connor Murphy was, and he got smashed, and it kind of derailed his season. This is almost a very similar situation here for Zane Parekh, unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, which is weird bringing up Chicago from last year. This game snapped a 3-game losing streak for Chicago against Calgary. And last year, Chicago was one of the oldest teams in the league. This year, they're one of the youngest teams in the league now. So crazy how quickly that all changes. And just on Zane Parekh, we were texting during the game, kind of talking about what the next steps look like for him. Obviously, they've burned the 10th game now. First year of his ELC is in effect. And we were talking about his case for making the World Junior team, which is really tough because obviously he was overlooked the year before. He was invited to Hockey Canada's World Junior Summer Showcase, which is usually held in August. It's kind of the first chance to really impress the team brass and show that you should be at the main camp in December and have a shot at this team. He was also held out of that because of a lower body injury, which, you know, it was, I don't think anyone ever thought it was something big. It was more about not endangering his chances with the Flames, or getting banged up before training camp. But super disappointing considering he would be, you know, one of the top players that I think they would be interested in seeing there.
Yeah, I mean, you can make an argument he'd be the best defenseman on the team because, you know, Matthew Schaefer's definitely not going. Sam Dickinson probably won't be going. So
Harrison Brunick, I'd bet he would love to get the opportunity. Some injuries have really nagged him over the years, but he's had some good showings with Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So, you know, Zane probably would be the guy. And I personally think that, you know, if he is healthy and he can go to the World Juniors, I think it would be great for him. I actually think it'd be great for him to get out of Calgary right now. Go out to the World Juniors, be around guys your age, have some fun, play on that stage, that incredible and intense stage, and that spotlight. Like, I think that would be an amazing experience for him, and just get him out of this fishbowl here right now. Like, I'm finding with Zane Parekh that every single play he makes is being dissected. Every single play he makes is under the microscope, and it's completely unfair for a 19-year-old, you know, number 6 defenseman. Like, that's usually what he is when he's in the Flames lineup. So because he's in that fishbowl, because he's you know, in a bit of a miserable losing environment in Calgary right now, I think it'd be great for him to get away for a month and go light up the World Juniors. I really do. So hopefully he's healthy enough by when the time comes, but that hit was pretty ugly tonight. It didn't look great.
Yeah, hopefully he's well enough and gets the shot to go. Also, because Canada has not medaled for 2 straight years after winning goals back to back. Yeah,
totally. It'll be like a great redemption story too, and it's on U.S. soil. It's gonna be in crazy hostile environments. It would be an amazing experience for him. I'm curious, would you send him to the World Juniors if you were in charge?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
just don't see
I say it's no hesitation for me. There's some guys like, I don't know, a Ben Kindle, and like you said, like a Matthew Schaefer, like teams probably don't want to let these guys go. Like it is actually a full-on detriment to their organization if they're not here. But if, like, you know, Parekh's not getting a ton of ice, they're trying to keep the vibes up around the team, but it's feeling a little bleak at some times. How does it hurt?
He's losing his confidence too. Like when you watch Zane Parekh play, one of like his you know, strongest qualities as a player and a person is his confidence and his swagger and just his ability to know that like he can make plays, that he can go out there and dominate hockey games. And I'm just not seeing that right now. It looks like a player that's lost his mojo a little bit. And hopefully, I think the World Juniors would be a good place for him to potentially get that back.
Yep, and hopefully get some more information on what the immediate road ahead looks like for him as he deals with that injury. Another super chat from Jeremy. Also, it's Friday night. What's your favorite Friday night meal, snack, and movie?
Damn. You go first.
Exactly,
you go first with that one.
I know exactly what mine is. My favorite movie is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I don't even know what that is.
Are you kidding me?
I'm going to write it down. I'm going to add that to the list.
It's okay. Yasmin, you might have to look up a picture from the first movie because it's Keanu Reeves and Jack Eichel, basically.
And Jack Eichel?
He looks so much like Jack Eichel.
Is it Marv from Home Alone?
Close.
What a duel.
Oh gosh, no, that and like, I don't know, Italian center pizza.
Good choice.
That's the play. How about you?
I'd go with some like that white cheddar popcorn as a snack. The Smart Pop. I don't know if you're familiar. Very tasty. Yeah.
Responsibly enjoyed that product once or twice.
Absolutely. If we're going with a movie, my favorite movie is Shawshank Redemption. I absolutely love that movie. Anytime like it comes on TV, like I have to watch it. I've probably seen it like 20 times.
That sounds like a serious person movie. I've never seen that.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, you know what? Next time we do Afterburner together, I'll watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You have to watch Shawshank Redemption. We'll do a little movie review.
This
Especially
feels like
if it's
this
another
just feels
4-0
like old
loss.
school Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Very different vibes. Oh,
Cami, I
Jer,
think I found
Wayne's
the.
World, but with time travel. That is so accurate. You got it?
I think I got the movie poster, so let's take a look.
Here we go.
See, that is Jack Eichel.
He's got the Jack Eichel fro going for sure. I've never even seen that movie poster before. How have I not seen this? Is this a popular
pretty
movie?
old.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a cult classic. They're like two burnouts that travel through time to try to finish a school assignment.
It's got sounds like it's got some Billy Madison vibes to it.
Marvin, yeah, it's definitely a boomer movie. It is, but I don't know, like the way they mispronounce something sticks with me forever. Like I've never said after seeing it for the first time, I can never say Socrates again. I have to say Socrates because of this movie.
Socrates.
Or
That's a
Beethoven.
Rickyism. I'm like that with Trailer Park
Beethoven?
Boys and
Where?
Rickyisms.
Yes.
I drop Rickyisms all the time, and people that don't watch Trailer Park Boys look at me and they're like, are you okay up there? Is everything all right? Well, it's worst case Ontario, right? And they're like, what? Worst case Ontario? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's just part
totally
of the vernacular.
100%.
Yeah.
Get with it.
Well, that was a good little break from the game. I guess we should dive back in. Actually, we're going to dive back into a fun part. What do you do when your 19-year-old defenseman is done for the game?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, the guy who eats the most minutes is in the box, and another defenseman is in the box. Who are you going to call?
Joel Farabee.
Farabee. Joel Farabee.
Hey.
Some might say. I loved that for him. You know what? You got to love a guy who will step up. I feel like when we see goalies go down and you always see guys who are like so eager to strap on the pads just in case.
Yeah. This was that.
Yeah, we do love to see him and made a couple okay plays. I think he made it about 4 minutes on D.
He fit in out there. He was just fine. Yeah, totally. Good on him.
It makes me think of every beer league game I've ever played where you've had 4D even.
Yeah.
And how fried you are. Like I can't even fathom what you would feel like after that game.
Oh yeah, in an NHL environment, oh my god, yeah, it would be brutal. But like I said, he fit in well. He looked half decent. Good on him for stepping up and doing that. That probably wasn't the most comfortable situation for him to dive into for sure.
No, well, I think there was a worse situation later in the game. We will get there. I guess this is probably the highlight of the game for Calgary, and shocker, it's a Dustin Wolf stop. The Burakovsky one. And again, Bedard is on one tonight. He had a really solid shot from, here, just outside the slot. And Burakovsky just gets robbed on that rebound. The puck tips off the bottom of Wolf's glove, but it's like he's already sitting down and he somehow manages to do this frog shuffle to kick out that left leg and stop the Stanley Cup champ from extending the lead at that point.
It's unbelievable, his side-to-side movement. I really believe that he is the best side-to-side goaltender in the NHL. Teams have a really difficult time beating him when he's going cross crease because he's so fast and he reads the play so well. The only time you can really beat him is with a perfect shot, and that's exactly what happened, I believe, on the Chicago third goal on that 2-on-1. It was literally a perfect shot by Tyler Bertuzzi that beat Dustin Wolf, but that's it. That's the only way you can beat the guy. He's unbelievable at that. He's a freak athlete. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's unbelievable.
Oh, and he's stupid smart.
Oh yeah.
He was when he was in the dub, he was an academic player of the year.
Was he? I actually didn't know that. That's interesting.
He was. Yeah, I think his high school average was very close to 100%.
Damn. Good for him.
Wild. Very smart guy. Yeah. Takes us to the third. This is where it all kind of comes apart. Calgary was in it up until this point, and they were getting opportunities, but then it's you get to the third period, you need something big, and it's 90 seconds in, and Bertuzzi has his second of the night, and Bedard's got the primary helper again. In
3 periods, because he scored a hat trick in Vancouver a couple the night previous. So I mean, good on Tyler Bertuzzi, but Weegar makes an unfortunate play. He tries to defend the pass, but not with the best technique that you'll ever see. And Bedard's just world class. He's just a spectacular hockey player and makes that pass.
Yeah, and that's the one where you're like, Uyghur. Like next one.
That's the backbreaker. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. This is the one that I don't blame him for. This is where Farabee kind of pinches and Bedard just like, it's just like that, and he's around you, and all of a sudden the Blackhawks are off to the races.
And like you said, if you're Mackenzie Weegar, what do you do there? Like, there's literally nothing you can do there. Like, it's really too bad. And like we said at the beginning of the show, Hockey Canada was in attendance. They had scouts watching for the Olympic team, whether it was Connor Bedard or Mackenzie Weegar. They had people watching, and it wasn't Weegar's best night, unfortunately. It's been a rough start to the season for him. Like, I would argue he's played himself off the team, unfortunately, with his start.
Which sucks. I think a lot of it is kind of overplaying it, almost trying too hard.
100%.
Which always sounds so counterintuitive, but we talk about it in hockey all the time, just gripping the stick too hard, trying to do too much, overcommitting, putting yourself out of position. It's tough. It's really tough. I think we have the tweet actually from Pike, if we can pull that up for a second here, because I think we're seeing the kind of opposite with Bedard. Yeah, here we see 12 different teams and Hockey Canada on the seating chart for Flames and Blackhawks. I don't know how much of a consideration Connor Bedard really was when the Olympic orientation roster, the long list, so to say, was initially released. And now, like, he's been on another level this year.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, his point drop off, like, I don't even think it was a drop off last year. Just wasn't what people were expecting. I think people usually have overinflated expectations for first overall picks, especially someone like Connor Bedard. But I mean, this year, like, you can tell just like the hands, like the skating has come so far from last season.
Absolutely.
The stuff that he's able to do. Just got his first NHL hat trick a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how you don't.
Well,
I also wonder if Wolf and Knight have made some cases for them to maybe be on USA Hockey's roster. A bit of a
for sure they have
reunion after their winning gold at World Juniors together in 2021, I think it was.
Yeah, the pandemic World Juniors with nobody in attendance. Yeah, I remember that.
When Wolf drove down to Calgary to make his pro debut like 2 days later.
Crazy. Yeah, you make a good point about Bedard. I mean, I think he still put up like around 68 points last year. It was a half decent year production wise, especially for a 19-year-old. Like, it's pretty impressive. But like you said, it wasn't quite the year he wanted to have. He also skipped the World Championships, which might have pissed off Team Canada a little bit. So, between his play last year, skipping Worlds, he was coming into this year probably pretty far down the depth chart for Team Canada. But with his play so far this season, being right up there with Macklin Celebrini for first overall in points, you have to consider the guy. You absolutely do. I mean, he's been that good. He's got an elite skill set that not many people have, both passing and shooting. He could be a pretty dangerous extra forward potentially. Put him out on a power play unit, maybe put him out in overtime potentially. I mean, kind of hard to jump over and top some of the talent on Canada. But it also, to have him on the roster, it might be a good experience for him too, just to go to the Olympics and be around Crosby and McKinnon and McDavid and learn from these guys. So he's definitely in the mix for sure. I mean, Macklin's got to make the team. I think Macklin Celebrini's just been spectacular this year. And
I wonder if we did a World Cup of Hockey again, what a North America roster
that would be
look
exciting.
like. I think it'd be even better this time around.
Yeah, and that's saying something because that team was stacked. That was some of the best hockey I've ever watched in my entire life.
That team, North America team, watching World Cup of Hockey.
Unbelievable. The game against Sweden was crazy. The Russia game was unbelievable. Yeah, that was in like Johnny Gaudreau lit up that tournament. I remember thinking to myself, like, we have a superstar in Calgary after watching that tournament. And yeah, that was fun. That was really fun.
And then I guess, this was the way they closed it out since we're talking about Bedard. Clean break. He shows off a really strong stick, great skating, great hands, and manages to...
Not a great play by Morgan Frost either, but...
No.
Not a great night for the Flames.
No, there were some other moments, though. I was so scared that the Flames were going to score on their own empty net. It was reminiscent of that game. Oh, it's got to be like 10 years ago now when they were in Vancouver and they're on the delayed penalty. And I think it was Weidman tried to pass it back to Mason Raymond. And it's just off the boards back into Calgary's own net. I thought we were in for the same today.
Yeah. I was at that game. I was telling you before this. I was at that game. I think it was December of 2014. And I was in a section amongst Canucks fans. I was wearing my Flames jersey, and I was getting yelled at. I was just getting terrible things said to me. It was a tough experience. I remember in that game though, Johnny Gaudreau scored like a really nice goal, and they got it to overtime. And I think Chris Tanev ended it for Vancouver in OT. It was a fun game, but God, when that puck went into the empty net, I was like, oh my God, I wish I was not wearing a Flames jersey right now. I was getting roasted by these fans around me.
Win some, lose most, hey?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Sums up my life pretty much.
Rules for life. You know who'd be a good person to commiserate with? Maybe we should give him a shout. Get his take on the game, Mr. Derek Newman.
What a guy. Great
guy. Actually going to a party with him next week. He got to go out to a bunch of the Blue Jays games too during that World Series run. Unbelievable.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, but if you are buying or selling in the Calgary area, let Derek do the work for you. You can email him at dnewman@cirrealty.ca or call 403-619-666 or visit dereknewmangroup.com. And listen, he's awesome. Like, he's so easy to talk to. And if you feel like you're asking stupid questions, if you're new to the kind of buying and selling game, which I am, he made a lot of it just super easy and not as stressful as it can quickly turn out to be. He's also like 6'5", so he's really good for measuring things. That's how I measured the garage doors in the place that we ended up buying. I got asked, like, my parents asked me, like, I showed them pictures. I'm like, those garage doors tall enough? And I'm like, oh yeah, like here's the picture of Derek next to it. And like, oh, tons of space. Tons of space. But yeah, they took care of like the pictures, the cleaning. Yeah, he made it very smooth and not as stressful as buying my first place was. So if you're looking, Derek's your guy. Again, his number is 403-619-6661. Yeah. Let Derek do the work for you. Kick back. Relax. And just find your dream home. Do the fun stuff.
What a beauty.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about Zane. We had another young defender in there tonight. What'd you make of Jan Kuznetsov?
Yeah, he was fine. I found in Kuznetsov's first 2 games this season that he looks like an NHLer. I think he more than fits in out there. He's actually compared to the preseason, I actually think his skating's like almost improved in the Flames regular season here. He can really move for such a big frame. So I like the mobility. I like that he's able to get pucks through. He's pretty aggressive in the offensive zone, and I like his size, his range. I see an NHL player there. I really do. I don't know what his ceiling is. Like, could he be a number 4? Maybe. Kind of looks like he might top out as a third pairing defenseman. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So I've liked his game so far. What have you thought of him?
I thought there was a lot of good stuff there. He was stepping into, a pretty important role in this game. I'm trying to just toggle back to the game sheet right now. We had about 50,000 tabs open, but I did I think I had in my notes, there were 2 good opportunities that he created offensively, which says a lot for anybody on that ice tonight.
For sure. Like his Corsi was 52%. What else we got here?
Yeah, but what do you got? Yeah, he ended up with 4 shots that ended up leading all Calgary defensemen. He's playing more than 22 minutes, gets a couple of hits in there.
High danger chances were 2-0 with him on the ice. Like, yeah, he was very solid tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if you could have asked for much more from him but a goal, but you could ask that of anybody on the team right now.
Speaking of shots, though, Matt Coronato had 11 shots on goal tonight. 11. Like, that's got to be a team high this year. It was unbelievable. And I tweeted after the game in my post-game thoughts that I thought that was like the Matt Coronato we saw last year. He was looking dangerous again. He's playing with 2 playmakers, which I think is really smart. Huberdeau and Frost, they set him up for, like, I'd written down about 8 scoring chances. 4 of them were Matt Coronato alone. And Huberdeau was in there too. Like, that line with Frost, Huberdeau, and Coronato was fantastic tonight. And I think they're starting to show some really good chemistry. And that was a really good sign for Matt Coronato for him to get his shot off as much as he did. Because
this little super cut here, but I think that was the one I was thinking of. Like, he's getting to the right spots.
For sure.
It just seems like things were just an inch off on so many opportunities tonight. Even Backlund had one towards the end there. Coleman and Backlund, where Backlund, like, he's on the edge of the blue paint, just got to redirect it in. That couldn't have been more than 4 inches off.
Yeah, it goes off the top of his stick. Like the puck bounces at the last second and it just kind of explodes. And, Backlund had the entire net to shoot at pretty much. And yeah, it just exploded off his stick, unfortunately. It was just one of those nights for the Flames.
I think Coleman took a tripping penalty like immediately after that too.
Yeah, and it was one of those tripping penalties where it's just like, it's over. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, we saw them like aggressive again on the penalty kill. That was kind of nice. Backlund got the shot shorthanded like right away, but special teams were like 0 for 3 tonight. So I guess they would be brutal. 1 for 25 now. 1 for 25 on the power play at the Saddle Dome this year.
Gross. Real gross. I feel bad for the paying customer for that. I mean, Ryan Huska, he changed up the power play units to start tonight. He kind of spread out the scoring. He split up Huberdeau and Kadri just to try and get something going. And it just unfortunately didn't work. One thing that's really too bad about the power play right now is when a couple years ago when Yegor Sharangovich was really on top of his game, he was scoring a lot of goals. A lot of them are on the power play. A lot of them are just him, smashing one-timers, using that kind of slingshot wrist shot that he had that season, which seems to have completely disappeared in his game. I actually think he's a big reason why they're not scoring on the power play right now. It's kind of hard to watch, and they're not getting much from their defense. Quite honestly, I mean, the offense of this team right now, it's the Jonathan Huberdeau show. I mean, he's the guy who's kind of creating a lot of the looks right now for this Flames team. If it wasn't for him, oh man, I'd be scared to see what their record is. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, well, Coleman as well too. I think he's still, one of the.
I think he's at 6 goals.
He's at 6 now, so that definitely leads the team. And for Huberdeau, that breaks a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 6-game point streak tonight.
Yeah. And I mean, and he was all over it. Him, Frost, and Coronato were by far the Flames' best line. I didn't think any of the other lines were going whatsoever. They really carried the offense and the scoring chances tonight. But yeah, they just couldn't get one past Spencer Knight.
Yeah.
That was probably my biggest takeaway from a positive perspective was they might have found something with that line.
Yeah.
And like I said, I love the idea of playmakers playing with Coronato. I don't think Kadri's a great fit for him. I don't think Backlund and Coleman is the right way to go long term with him. I really like what they found in that trio right now.
Yeah, what do we have here in the chat? Why not mention Coronato's -12 while playing a fraction of the time doesn't fit your narrative? Yes, you're narrative. The propaganda arm of Matt Coronato. No, because plus-minus is a stupid stat half the time.
If it's extreme in a good or bad way, I don't mind taking a look at it. But, on a bad team like Calgary, it's one of those ones you're going to have to ignore this season.
Yeah.
Because if you're on a bad team, you're guaranteed to be a minus. That's just what happens. So it's going to be one of those years where plus-minus is going to be ugly on this team. And I don't think we can really look at it, to be totally honest.
Yeah. No. Another guy who I thought deserved a little better tonight was Sam Honzek. He had some good opportunities.
For sure.
He had one where he almost got through for a partial break. He had he had a swarm of Blackhawks on him, though. He wasn't getting away from that.
It was a nice little move he made. Good power move. I really think it's only a matter of time before he really breaks out and starts to put up some points. I could really see, mainly in like the second half of the season, I could see him playing at like a 0.5 point per game pace. I really like his game. I find with rookies, it takes usually 2 or 3 months for them to kind of find their footing in the NHL because the game is so fast. Everyone is so good. Like it takes time for these guys to get used to it. But once you hit January and February, that's when a lot of these young players really start to kind of explode. We saw that last year with like a guy like Will Smith in San Jose. First part of the season, I think he had about 10 or 12 points, and then he was almost a point per game player in like the last 30. That's the kind of trajectory I'm seeing for Honzek in terms of once you hit that kind of 40 game mark, I really think we're going to start to see him put up some points here.
Yeah, earlier this week, I was at the Hockey Calgary Coaches Leadership Day over at Mount Royal, and Ryan Huska was kind of the guest of honor, and he was up on stage for like almost an hour, just kind of sharing some insights about, coaching at the NHL level, coaching his son and minors, all that kind of stuff. But he did point out Sam Honzek, like pretty unprompted, as a guy who he feels can really skate and has the potential to really utilize his talent as well as anyone else on the team.
Mm-hmm.
He had some interesting stuff to say.
Yeah, what else did he say? I'm curious.
One was really funny. It was actually they were talking about like phones and minor hockey players and how teams deal with that now. And he told a story about coaching the Kelowna Rockets with Backlund. And it was like kind of when players were just all starting to get their own phones. And he had an old briefcase and he was trying to like confiscate them at night so the players wouldn't be on their phones all night. And the players didn't want to. So they all like set alarms for 1 a.m, just like loud, obnoxious 2006 ringtones. And his briefcase went off all at once in his hotel room at like 3 a.m.
That's awesome.
That was just a funny one. But what I thought was really interesting was him talking about the importance of finding little things to celebrate and celebrating them hard when they know it's a tough start and it's going to be a difficult year. So he talked really specifically about trying to make it a huge deal privately in the room when Kadri hits 1,000 games, when a guy gets his first NHL goal. So I think he's looking to really celebrate those things as hard as they can and showing that it matters to everybody to just try to build some positive momentum in the room, even when you're not getting the results in the ice. The other was a fun thing. Another reason to love Jamie Pringle and the video staff. They have something called the Ring of Fire to keep things light in video sessions. So since like obviously Saddledome's covered in cameras, they got angles of everything, like whether it's in games and practice. When they catch players like falling or doing something dumb, like if you trip over your own feet, if you fall going over the boards, they have like a ring of fire that they'll put over it on video. And then you'll just get roasted by your team in the video sessions. And apparently they have a lot of fun doing that.
That's awesome. You know what? In a year like this, they need to have some fun because it's going to be a long year for this group. So I appreciate and kind of respect that approach that Huska and those guys are taking. So I was thinking about this tonight during the game. When it comes to a guy like Ryan Lomberg, I mean, he doesn't play all that much. He doesn't produce any offense. He's kind of a vibes guy. I'm almost thinking like off the ice, he might be one of the most important people in this organization this season. Just keeping things loose, keeping guys laughing, keeping the energy up in that dressing room because, if they do end up getting out of this, like I see them like at maxing out as like a 500 hockey club, it's going to be a long year in that dressing room. And a guy like Lomberg, he's going to play a big part in trying to keep the energy going in that room. Because if he doesn't, it could be a kind of a miserable place to work for these guys.
Oh yeah. And you can't let it get toxic or get people too used to losing or okay with losing. Yeah. That's where you end up with the Buffalo rebuild. So with that, let's take a look at what is coming up. So basically, the Flames are going to face the teams that stonewalled their incredible push for the playoffs last spring. So Sunday, it's a road tilt against the Minnesota Wild. They were on the ice tonight taking on the New York Islanders. I feel like they had higher expectations, and they also had an awful October that they are trying to move past. They were 3-6-3 to start, but they're 3-1 in November, including tonight's 5-2 W over Matthew Schaefer. And the Islanders, and they also had that bizarre OT winner against the Predators the other night. They had Matt Zuccarello making his season debut tonight. He had a pretty electric play with Kaprizov. So they're up to 15 points in the standings, but they're still among the worst teams in the league. And I guess also a little proof that a star sniper doesn't automatically make you a playoff team.
And then they go into St. Louis next, and they're right there with the Calgary Flames at the bottom of the standings right now. So that's a bit of a basement bowl kind of game, kind of a Mission McKenna tank sort of game. So that'll be kind of interesting to watch too.
Yeah, and then next one. Hey, Tuesday, Remembrance Day. It's the Blues, and there's your basement bowl, if that's what you want to call it. Minnesota and St. Louis are the two leakiest teams in the league right now. St. Louis has allowed 58, Minnesota, I believe, 57 after tonight's game. But if you want to talk about high-profile scratches, the way people were freaking out about Parekh and Zary sitting a bit, and Coronato, Jordan Kyrou.
Yeah, that's a wild one.
Yeah, that's whew.
That's a guy who's like a 70-point player getting healthy. Like that's pretty crazy. Like things must be brutal in St. Louis right now for that to happen.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want the wins, you take advantage of that. And the Blues are going to have 2 days off between games. That'll be the second of a 4-game homestand for them. And then next Thursday, home to host Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, and the San Jose Sharks. So entering tonight, Calgary's next opponents across the league were ranked 31st, 30th, and 29th.
If you want to win games, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, 11 games left in November. See what you can make of those. But yeah, Sharks are fun. Sharks are really fun to watch. We've seen some great goaltending duels between Dustin Wolf and, I forget that goalie last season, but they had a really fun game against them. And San Jose is top 10 in goals scored in the league. They just allow a lot of them too.
Oh yeah, they're super fun to watch. I've actually been tuning into a lot of Sharks games, which I didn't expect to really do this season, but Celebrini is the real deal. That guy is awesome to watch. Sure
is. Might need a little dental work after tonight, though. I saw he got a high stick, and smile needs a little work. We'll wrap up the road ahead with next Saturday's Tilt home game against the Winnipeg Jets. That will be the final meeting of the regular season between Calgary and Winnipeg. The Jets previously won 2-1 and 5-2.
Yeah, I think the Flames will be happy to have that season series over this quickly. It's not a good matchup.
No, I remember having the 2 goals in the 5-2 loss. That one really, really flattered the Flames a bit. Yeah, that has been the road ahead, which is, of course, brought to you by Platinum Mitsubishi, family owned and operated by lifelong Calgarians. At Platinum, lease and finance rates start at 0%. You can get ready for winter because it is here with the brand new Outlander, Eclipse Cross, or RVR. You can try out Canada's best-selling plug-in hybrid, the Outlander PHEV, and get into the best-backed cars in the country with a standard 10-year powertrain warranty at Platinum Mitsubishi, 2720 Barlow Trail Northeast. Watching any other sports this weekend, Robert?
I was just so into baseball there. But now the baseball's over. I'm getting back into football a little bit. So come Sunday, I'll be watching a specific game. If you want to throw that up, Yasmin. For Bet365.
Okay, I actually have no idea which game you're talking about now, so hit me.
My bet of the week for our friends at Bet365 here, we got the Arizona Cardinals on the road in Seattle, one of the harder stadiums to play in, home of the 12th man. I will say I am a Seattle Seahawks fan, so this is why I chose this game. But the Seahawks, they tend to kind of tee off on the Arizona Cardinals at home. Sam Darnold has been absolutely incredible this year. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, is the best wide receiver in the NFL, and they add Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints. So I think the Seahawks are going to blow out the Arizona Cardinals. I am taking the Seahawks minus the points. So that is my bet of the week for Bet365. Take the Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, a lot of other big games going on. We got, we're into CFL playoffs. I know it sucks the way that the Stampeders went out.
That was
on
heartbreaking. 1st. Brutal. Oh, they should have won that game. They should have won that game. They were totally in a position to do it.
Yeah.
God damn it. That damn fumble in the 4th quarter, that killed them.
Oh, yeah,
just
brutal. Brutal. But yeah, we got the semis on tomorrow. We have the Alouettes and the Tiger Cats at 1:00. We got the Lions and the Rough Riders at 4:30. I don't even know who you go for. Who do you go for?
You know what? I hate the Saskatchewan Rough Riders with a passion, and I lived in Vancouver for a long time, so I'll go with the BC Lions on that game. I'm cheering for BC.
We actually had a bunch of bunch of our teams have changed their start time tomorrow to not fall at the same time as the Rough Riders, to give people time to do both.
For what? What are you guys changing? Like curling or something?
Oh, for the WHL. We had some teams change their start times. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
In Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The Riders, I mean, they're pretty damn popular there, so I don't blame the junior teams for doing that.
I covered courts in Saskatchewan when I was working out there, and there was a case where the Riders were used as a frame of reference in a court of law in a very dark murder trial.
Oh, okay. Maybe I shouldn't laugh at that.
I don't know. Well,
It just shows just how crazy they are.
How do you not? Yeah, they're like cross-examining someone, a witness, and they're like, how do you know that this was happening on this day at this time? You admitted you were intoxicated. And they're like, I was walking back from the old Taylor Field. The Riders beat the Blue Bombers 29-27. And they're like, yes, of course.
The guy in the witness stand still wearing the watermelon on his head.
Yeah. I know. And then the cameraman framed me up for my hit that afternoon. It says courthouse outside, and he had it framed, so it just said court ho.
Perfect.
And then it's just me.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah,
he really
that's
sewered
that
you
on
on that
Saskatchewan. We also got Cavs. Cavalry FC are going for a second consecutive CPL title this weekend. They took out Forge 1-0 last weekend. Now it's on to the final against Ottawa in the nation's capital. So that's a 3:00 Mountain Time start on Sunday. Earlier today, Tommy Wilden Jr. was just kind of reminding people that they are the team to beat. They're the first CPL club to beat an MLS team, a Liga MX team. And it looks like Forge took home a lot of the big awards at the CPL awards tonight, but they won't be playing for the big one.
Nope. Go Cavalry. That's awesome. That's going to be a great sports weekend.
Oh, it's going to be huge. So, like,
unreal.
Get out, support at home, or if you want to roll on over to the Unicorn, check out the games, cheer everybody on with some like-minded fans. They got the 2 locations over on 8th Avenue Southwest, on 4th Street Southwest. I mean, the 8th Avenue one, like 3 floors, 3 bars. They got it all, like hockey, football, soccer, UFC. They've got all the fun games. Are you a bar games guy?
Absolutely. I live for bar games.
What's your go-to?
Darts. Love me some darts. Yeah, I've played darts for quite a while. Yeah, big darts guy.
Come on, Ted Lasso.
Yeah, exactly.
I go.
Be curious.
Yeah, not judgmental.
Not judgmental.
All right. Well, let's go and we'll play darts and Buck Hunter and get those game day $7 pints of Molson Canadian. If you go out on Sunday, oh wait, no, just kidding. They're on the road on Sunday. Thursday. You go to the Unicorn on a Flames game day. 4th Avenue location is actually walking distance to the Saddledome, so you never know. They might surprise you with some tickets.
Yeah, they got some Molson reps kind of hovering around, seeing who's got their jersey on, and if you're lucky enough, yeah, they can offer you tickets to the game. So head on over to the Unicorn on 4th.
Heck yeah. I think we're getting pretty close to wrapping it up here. So if you have any more questions, comments, concerns you want us to get to, you want to help out the Super Chat for Youth Centers of Calgary, now's the time to do it. Anything else you really wanted to touch on tonight, Robert?
No, I think we've covered it. The fact that we've gone almost 55 minutes after a 4-0 Flames loss is actually a pretty impressive accomplishment by us, I will say.
I know you were saying like it's going to be a crisp 35 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's not push this one tonight. And hey, we got up to 55. Not bad.
Hey, not too bad. Not too bad at all. One other thing we do need to pump up, though. Are you going to be going up to the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament this year?
Don't know, but potentially.
Maybe
More the reason to join.
What's that?
More the reason for people to come up and join. Hang out with old Bobby Germany. Watch Ryan Pinder get absolutely wasted. It's going to be a good time.
Scrape him off the ice.
Yeah.
I bet we can get Pinder to like try to lick like a light pole or something to see if his tongue will stick. We'll go full Christmas Story.
I like it.
Yeah. Once I can do a crossover at speed, I'm there.
We should get you on the Flames Nation team.
Oh, I would be so brutal, but I think it would be fun.
It looks like a blast. The weekend looks absolutely phenomenal. You get some former NHL players up there. Jay Rosehill usually shows up. I know Jeff Merrick was there last year. It looked like a ton of fun. So if you want to put a team together, I totally encourage it. Looks like it's going to be a blast.
Heck yeah. Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament back at the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge, January 23rd to the 25th. 3 days of pure hockey paradise on beautiful Lake Mildred, surrounded by your best crew and the Rockies. 4-on-4 pond hockey. Might just be the best hockey we get to watch this season.
Ouch.
Ooh. Oh,
Ouch.
We have one super chat that I missed. Okay, we'll wrap up with this from Ken. Cami and Bobby, I asked Pike earlier in the week if you had to make a top 5, who would it be for this year's draft? I think McKenna, Verhoff are kind of the 1-2 punch. I'm not as familiar with the European selections this year, but I think another centerman that I would watch out for would be Mathis Preston, who is playing down in Spokane. He's going to be in Calgary for the CHL USA Prospects Challenge on the 25th in Calgary, 26th in Lethbridge. Huge potential there. Andrew Crystal was just singing his praises during the championship series. Behind Crystal, Berkeley Catton, and Shea Van Olm, he was one of the top scoring centermen in that whole playoff run. Ryan Lynn will be a really good defenseman to look out for. Daxon Rudolph, right-handed D, and he's a big boy. There's a lot of D that I'd be looking out for as first rounders, especially coming out of the West this year.
I got nothing to add to that. Go WHL.
Yeah.
More WHL players.
Ryan Robrek. He'll be good. Malhotra kid out of Ontario. There's going to be
really?
a lot of like really high end first rounders who are playing in North America this year. Oh, and JP Hurlbert. I mean, he's leading the whole CHL. Oh, crazy.
He's like putting the Kamloops Blazers on his back. The kid is unbelievable.
I don't know if it's just him. Like there's some other guys there who score. Like Nathan Bame. Yeah, Tommy Lafreniere. They've got some talent up there. Mm-hmm. So, anyone else you wanted to add to that mix there?
No, I'm good. I'm not a huge prospects guy. I'm one of those like hockey fans that'll dive into it in June, but during the regular season, I'm like all in on the NHL. So I'll trust you in your list here.
All right. Sorry, Ken. We got to you eventually there. Maybe next time I'll send my notes to Ryan, see if I can get a more cohesive answer together for you. Whew. What a night. What a game. 4-0 Blackhawks. We're back with Afterburner on Sunday. So just remember, everyone, be excellent to each other. Have a good night.